Welcome in to the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook because of rules. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Happy Tuesday. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. We're all here rocking our Shady Rays. I can't put them on right now because if I take my glasses off, I won't be able to do the show. That would be a problem.
I mean, you could do the
No, I
show.
can't do anything.
You can still talk, right? You don't need to see to talk.
No, I can't.
Try, here, hold on.
Literally
Try
can't
closing
see a
your
thing.
eyes and then talking. Oh
Can't
my
do it.
gosh, you can't.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I can't do it. But I'll just keep looking dab as we do on this show. We got some news from practice today. Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane reunited on the top line.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some not-so-great injury updates. We've got the guys talking about coping with a 7-game losing streak. Wrote about that on my Blackhawks Beat piece that comes out every Tuesday. It was just published about a half hour ago. So check that out. Lots of cool exclusive video in there from Jake McCabe, Luke Richardson, and Jack Johnson. So why don't we start with the biggest news, the inevitable news. Kane and Toews back together with Andreas Athanasiou, and boy, he's got to be excited.
Oh yeah, yeah. Being the third wheel on that line is not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I know they used to call it the nuclear option back in the Q days to put those two guys together. I don't know if it's how nuclear it is anymore. Maybe
That was a deep fried option.
it's like a microwave option or a M80 option.
There you go.
Like listen.
Firecracker.
Obviously, they want to get Patrick Kane going. You know, Toews has done good. But I think the most interesting thing about this that I'm looking forward to, like Kane and Toews together, okay, whatever. I want to see Max Domi on that second line.
Yep.
Where he's the guy.
He's the guy.
Stop freaking passing. Stop
Yes.
looking for 88. He's not there anymore. I love Phil Kurashev, but he's no Patrick Kane. Taylor
Right.
Radish is definitely no Patrick Kane.
No.
So maybe this is where Max Domi says, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm going to just shoot the puck every time I get it.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
That's Max Domi.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
fantastic. Just because there's just we've talked about it so much, how much that he defers, and even in the game on Sunday, there was an opportunity for him to shoot a one-timer. And he like half shot and decided to pull the puck back and was like, "Oh no, never mind."
Then he put it at
and
Jack
then he
Johnson's feet.
Yeah, direct like. Yeah. I mean that line, that second line gives him the opportunity to be, a scoring option, be a facilitator of the offense, and not, a part of get the puck to Patrick Kane.
Yeah, and I think too, like, look, when we saw that top line debut
these
of
off.
Domi, Athanasiou, and Kane, we kind of knew, like, okay, there's going to be some moments that are really, really exciting, but probably a lot more where you're like, this team will never have the puck if these three don't win the face-off and control it right away. And there were those moments. So I do think that having someone on his line that's willing to go do the dirty work, and Jonathan Toews, that's really going to benefit Patrick Kane. And look, we've been praising Athanasiou for his two-way play, but he's not the same as Toews. Going into a corner, he's just not that kind of player. Domi is willing to stand in front and take a beating, but it's not the same. Kane can finally have a guy go do the work for him, and let him get loose a little bit and create some space. Because honestly, like, Domi and Athanasiou are what they are. They don't demand a ton of defensive commitment, whereas Kane, that's a guy you got to focus on. But Toews is sort of back in that role now too.
Yeah.
He's sort of restated himself as an offensive threat. So now I think both those guys are going to free up space for each other. So I'm really excited to see them together, and to see if Athanasiou is the guy that sticks there, cool. But I think there's a lot of guys that could work on that line.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope that there'd be enough players on this team, even with the way that the roster is right now, that could benefit from playing alongside Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane when they're together. One thing I'm really interested in is this pairing these two together is trying to get the offense going at all costs. I'm very interested what the rest of the lineup does behind it, because if you're just throwing these three out there for 22, 25 minutes, like just trying to get the offense going, like that's great, but what else is going to happen behind them?
Yeah, because, I mean, if Domi doesn't start becoming that secondary scorer, then you really have three lines that are giving you nothing because you're not getting much scoring out of the bottom six at all. You haven't been all year. So, I mean, I look at this as Max Domi's chance. I know it sounds weird that technically getting a demotion is now your big chance to actually like take a step forward, but it is.
It is.
He doesn't have to worry about Kane passing the Kane anymore. So if he can up his game and start becoming a consistent scoring threat, then I think it helps them long term. Flipping them as where they were for the first 21 games.
As we were watching practice today, I was just thinking about some things to throw into the Blackhawks beat, some little news and notes. The Blackhawks, of their 21 regular starters listed on their roster right now, 9 of them have 1 goal or fewer.
It's not good.
12 of the 21 have 2 goals or fewer, and Patrick Kane has 3. So you talk about what that bottom 6 is going to create. That's where I think maybe with some time, as you look at the lines, maybe you move somebody up with Toews and Kane, like a Kara, like a Kachuk, somebody like that, and then have a Thanasiu or whoever play on one of those lower lines. You can spread the scoring out a little bit. It's just so compressed. You just have 3 guys, 2 lines of scoring, and then 2 that just absolutely can't. So it's a tough place to be, and that's what happens when your roster is designed to lose, of course.
Right, yeah.
But you'd like to spread it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just to be expected with this roster and coming out as the lowest scoring offense in the league. Like, yeah, you would believe it looking at this team. So if pairing Toews and Kane together again reignites their offensive chemistry, like that would be great. And then I mean maybe you throw people around. You start really getting creative with it. At this point of the season, when you've lost 13 of your last 15, 7 in a row, like you have nothing to lose. Like try it. Yeah. Try
Just
something different.
Throw it against the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got options you could put up there with Kane and Toews besides Anthony C if you want to kind of put a scoring threat on each of the top 3 lines. I mean,
put Kurashev up there. That'd be fun.
I don't mind that.
That would be fine, but again, then you should still have 2 lines if you're trying to maybe bring one of those bottom 6 guys up. So you put Anthony C down on a 3rd line, maybe to give that a boost, or Kurashev on a 3rd line. I mean, you mentioned Kara, maybe. A guy like Colin Blackwell might be kind of fun with Kane and Toews. He's got the speed to hang with Kane. I don't know if he's got much after that. No. Offensive wise, Entwistle.
One of your 0 goal guys. He's been playing better lately. I think he's been a little more noticeable lately. Mm-hmm. But he's just that's not an NHL player on most teams.
It's not a scoring threat.
No.
They're both of their 3rd and 4th lines don't have a scoring threat. And with Sam Lafferty missing time, that takes somewhat of a scoring threat.
But Sam Lafferty hasn't been a scoring threat in a month.
Yeah,
he's been very pedestrian before this injury.
But his speed gives him a little bit more of a threat. Than the other guys.
What about Kachuk? It's another guy without a goal. I don't know. He's got a little bit more of like the skill set. He's got a little more speed. He's got, I don't know. He looks the part. He just has shown so little. He came back, and what frustrates is his first game back, he was all over the place.
Yeah,
finishing checks and being a difference maker. And then he's like, well, that was fun. I'm just going to go back to coasting and being a 4th liner now and really not providing much at all.
I think a lot of those guys get put in those roles, and sometimes they just for better or for worse, they buy into, oh, okay, well, this is how I stay in the NHL is playing this kind of role, playing this kind of game, and not really tapping into more of their offensive side. I think sometimes it works out, like with who we just talked about, Mackenzie Entwistle. Like the reason he's in the NHL is because his game developed beyond trying to be a scorer like he was in junior and being more aggressive defensively and physical. So I think, a guy like Taylor Radish, came to Chicago being a fourth liner in Tampa Bay, and then he comes to Chicago, gets promoted up the lineup because I think he tapped in more to his offensive side when he first got here, whereas Tkachuk was also, an AHL, NHL tweener with Tampa Bay, fourth liner guy. He's kind of just stayed as that, and maybe that's just what he is. Maybe that just is his ceiling. I don't really know if he does have that kind of offensive switch at this level of hockey that can be flipped and be effective.
But what other better time to find out is this season in the middle of a 7-game losing streak?
Oh, 100%.
Right. Now's the time. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to give him a few shifts up there, why the hell not?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Well, I do like that Luke has been kind of patient with his lines, and he's let them gel, let them form some chemistry. But, yeah, 7 losses in a row, it's time for something. So let's just see how these work for a few games. Give Athanassiou some time to figure out the chemistry with Toews and Kane, who have played together a ton during their careers, and see how that goes. But, look, I just don't mind at this point mixing things up a little bit because something has to be done. Something has to be done. Right. And, look, it's not the fault of the top 2 lines that had been out there. But when you get to this point in the season and things are going this poorly, the coach is almost forced to make a change. And this one, it just makes all the sense in the world to make. Because you've got to get Kane going.
Right.
You've got to find a way.
The narrative used to be putting Kane and Toews together because Toews needed to get going, and now it's flipped. And hey, I mean, even though Patrick Kane leads the team in points, like his game hasn't looked like Patrick Kane-ish.
No.
So, yeah, maybe getting him with Toews sparks that. Maybe getting him more time with Athanassiou could spark that as well. But yeah, I just think, it's definitely we've had the same post-game show for basically the last 5 or 6 games.
Truly.
Where it's like, oh, well, they gave up the first goal. They weren't able to recover. They had a period of time where they mustered up some sort of comeback, and then it all fizzled out. Like, that has been the same recipe over and over and over throughout this last, month stretch of the season. So you got to switch it up. You got to hope for different results by doing something differently. You can't hope for different results by doing the exact same thing. I think someone once said that was the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Must have been a smart guy who said that.
Yeah.
Probably. That makes
we
sense.
can say his name because the other guy who didn't believe in that has a jar on our table. So.
Exactly right.
He was Albert Einstein.
Hey, we want to thank everybody who took part of our Black Friday and Cyber Weekend, Cyber Monday sales. And a reminder to go to chgolocker.com and check out our legendary 81 design. Such a special event last week. God, it feels like a month ago, but that was last week. Commemorate it with this awesome, awesome design at the CHGO Locker. Go to chgolocker.com. And remember, diehards save 20% on everything in the CHGO Locker. And if you're not a diehard yet, sign up. When you sign up, you get a free CHGO shirt or hat of your choice. And then every year upon renewal, you will get another CHGO shirt or hat. You also get discounts on our tailgates, our takeovers. Like I said, all the merch in the CHGO Locker. The thing pays for itself. If you were a member during the Cyber Weekend, you were saving 70% at the CHGO Locker. So take advantage. Become a diehard at allchgo.com. Then you can save on this Sunday's tailgate that we're doing before Chicago versus Wisconsin.
It says Green Bay.
All right, fine. Chicago versus Green Bay.
Yeah, they don't have a trademark on that.
That's this Sunday, December 4th. We start at 8:30 in the morning. Food from Green Ridge Farm, waters from Liquid Death, brewskis from Goose Island. That is what we call the trifecta, my friend.
That's a hat trick of goodness right there, my friends.
That's right. Go to allchgo.com to purchase your tailgate ticket. You do not need a ticket to the Bears game to attend the tailgate, but you do need a ticket to the tailgate to attend the tailgate. You can get that at allchgo.com. And, of course, diehards, as always, save on the tailgate. So take advantage of those savings as well. And you said there's a special button for diehards, a special ticket?
I believe on the website there's a different porthole for our diehards to get their discounts.
Okay.
Nice. Don't just go to the regular page. Head to All CHGO. You'll see the diehard
Tab.
And that's where you get your discounts on our events and
Not a Coke.
And our merch.
Not a Pepsi.
And keep your eyes peeled because there's going to be some really cool events being announced in the very near future that diehards are going to be able to save money on as well. Things you do not want to miss.
Absolutely.
So get that diehard membership today if you haven't got it already.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Get it yesterday.
And speaking of Green Ridge Farm,
Yippee-ki-yay.
that will be feeding us at the tailgate, go get some. Go to your grocery store.
Do it, man.
Go buy yourself some of the fantastic meat sticks. They come in chicken, black forest beef, jalapeno cheddar, and my favorite, the spicy chili. 16 grams of protein per stick. They make a perfect post-workout, I don't know what that word means, snack. They're all natural and are hardwood smoked for 8 hours. Green Ridge Farm is a Chicago local meat and cheese company, and they offer you a better all-natural option. It's not just the meat sticks. You go to the Jewels. You go to the Pete's. You can find Green Ridge Farm deli meats in the luncheon meat case, and it's absolutely delicious. If you haven't tried Green Ridge Farm yet, you don't know what you're missing. They are made from recipes generations in the making, and again, they're all natural, delivering a fresh and flavorful alternative at snack time. You can find them in your refrigerated section at Costco, Sam's Club, or in your local Chicagoland grocery store. And right now, take advantage of this deal, folks. You order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com and include a pack of meat sticks in your cart. Those meat sticks will be free simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. Green Ridge Farm, simply natural meat.
And if you're coming to our tailgate this Sunday and chowing down on some delicious Green Ridge Farm, and you do want to go to the Chicago Green Bay professional football match at the Field of Soldiers, you can go to Game Time and grab yourself some tickets while saving lots and lots of cash. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site, and it makes it easier than ever to score the best deals of tickets to sports, contests, and shows. Ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you thought you never could, like the 50-yard line at a Chicago Green Bay professional football match, courtside at a Chicago Milwaukee professional basketball match, or maybe on the glass at a Chicago Minnesota professional hockey match?
Close enough.
Well, whatever professional match you want to go to, Game Time has the seats that I've always dreamed of sitting at for the biggest last-minute price drops that can be found. You won't find a better deal on Blackhawks tickets this season. Trust me on that. Game Time is created by the fans, for the fans, guarantees the lowest price. You want to see Connor McDavid and the Blackhawks play tomorrow night for under $20? Check out Game Time.
You can do it. Yep.
You'll be able to get into the building for $18. Connor freaking McDavid for less than $20. That's like $3 for every point he's going to score tomorrow night. That's a deal, my friends. And if you love CHGO, then you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is buying your tickets through the link in the podcast description. If you're watching on YouTube right now, scroll down, smash that giant thumbs up button on your way down. Then you'll see the link for Game Time. Click on that for all your ticket needs. Same applies if you're listening to the audio-only version. Wherever you're consuming your podcast, you'll find the link in the podcast description. And join over 15 million people who have used Game Time and score the best seats on all your favorite events. And your least favorite events.
Yeah.
And all those in between.
To not go to those ones. A lot of people in the chat. We haven't gotten any chat comments yet. But people excited about the Kane and Toews reunion.
It's nostalgia, baby.
Yeah, why not?
It's one of the few things to be excited about right now.
Whatever gets people to flip over and tune in, it works.
Yeah.
You know, a little excitement in the midst of a 7-game losing streak. You know, it's like your old friend from college coming to visit into you. You're thinking, man, remember all those fun times we had in college? We had a great time. We were getting drunk, staying out to 4 a.m., and then they come visit, and it's like 10:30 at night, and you're like, I want to go to bed. Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yes. Boy, I feel that.
Wow. Yeah.
That's very specific.
Oh, we're kind of like Kane and Toews is gonna be so great, and then like after the first period, we're like, yeah, okay, that's a thing.
That made way too much sense.
Yeah. Glad you finally joined that age group.
Yeah. We got a note from the Steve. He's writing us from Scotland.
Steve.
Hello,
He says,
Steve.
do you think we'll see Patrick and Johnny getting on each other's nerves on the 5-on-3 again? Oh, yeah. Those two get on each other's nerves all the time. Hossa told us a story. Remember that when he was here, Marion Hossa?
That was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We're told him that time.
We put the chair up in the rafters.
And he was saying he was just sitting between the two of them, like, pass the puck. No, you pass the puck. No, you pass the
shut
puck.
up.
And
You pass
Hossa's
the
just
puck.
looking back and forth like, what is wrong with you two? Yeah. So,
Hey,
yes, they will get on each other's nerves as they always do.
I hope that they're getting on each other's nerves on a 5-on-3 because that means the Blackhawks would have earned a 5-on-3 power play
That would
for
be
once.
nice.
Exactly.
And then Max Domi could not shoot it.
Yeah.
On a 5-on-3.
Hey,
Let's see. Where's Jack Johnson's feet? Ah, there they are.
Yeah.
I hit them in stride, and then nothing happened.
Jack Johnson on a 5-on-3 power play. That
Hey, man,
sounds-
you don't have a lot of other options.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, though,
It's true.
that goal is coming from him. He has been threatening that goal
I hope.
every game since I bet on him.
I hope it's Jack Johnson that breaks the Blackhawks streak of
Oh,
not
that'd
having
be
a goal
glorious.
on the power
Wouldn't it
play
be
by a
amazing?
It is
defenseman.
up to
That'd be
how many games did they
fantastic.
play? 21 this year?
It's close to 100, isn't
It's
it?
over 100.
Over 100.
It was 87 coming into this game, so that's 108 to
108?
my math.
108 games without a defensive power play goal.
That's nearly impossible.
Apparently
but not. But not.
And they
with
haven't
this
even
Blackhawks
even
team.
been close to one either. It's not like they've hit a few posts. I mean, hell, for 4 or 5 games they weren't even putting a defenseman on the power play.
that's true,
It's
yeah.
hard to score.
They can say like, well, that's why we just don't don't
because
use
we
them.
played 5 forwards.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested. By the way, we had a little bit of a scare at practice today.
Uh-oh.
Get there, and they have the 2 rinks at Fifth Third Arena, and usually you have the injured players warming up on the main rink. Then for the first part, they go to the secondary rink. Then they switch back. So I walk in, and here's who's on the ice: Tyler Johnson is skating, Stalock's skating, and then there's Seth and Caleb Jones in the non-contact white jerseys.
Ugh.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So me and Tab Bamford from Bleacher Nation are there chatting, trying to figure things out. Head over to the secondary rink, and then every Hawks defenseman was wearing white. So it was like, oh, okay, this is clearly like for some sort of
They threw
drill
them
or
off,
whatever
threw
they're
it
doing
They've
to
been
differentiate.
suspended for taking penalties 9 seconds apart.
Yeah, but when you see those two guys, especially Seth, just coming off an injury and that non-contact jersey, your heart skips a beat a little bit. But everything's fine for them. However, Sam Lafferty looks like it's going to be another week.
At least, yeah.
Jared Tenorti, a week probably more. Luke alluded to a bit of a setback for Alex Stalock, saying after the last few practices he hasn't felt great, so they're dialing it back a little bit on him, and really no update on Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, Tyler. They was very careful with Tyler Johnson saying that he didn't suffer a setback, but I think at this point you could say he suffered a setback.
Yeah, because it looked like he was ready to play.
He went from looking to be like online rushes in full contact to not even participating in practice to finally back skating before practice. So I'm no medical expert, but that sounds like a setback.
Yeah,
to me.
he's not even in the non-contact jersey.
Yeah.
He's just skating on his own before
not
practice.
practicing. Yeah.
And the drills they were doing this morning, look, I don't know what they're trying. I don't want to speculate too much, but it looked pretty like basic skating stuff, like working on strides, working on pushing off, and those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Tyler Johnson does not look close. So
I mean, that's tough because he was a guy who missed a lot of time last year because of injuries, and we've talked to him a few times, and just knowing how much he is a leader in the locker room, is a guy that brings a lot on his resume to, as a 2-time Cup winner, and came here and is trying to be a guy that can prove that he can still play at a high level like he was early on in his career with Tampa. And it just sucks to see that the injury bug is biting him again, and it puts the Blackhawks in it because we Tyler Johnson seemed like he was close to coming back.
Yeah.
And we thought, that'll bring some more lineup flexibility.
it solves us so many problems.
Right. And now with him still out and maybe having a delay in his return, and Tenorti and Lafferty missing at least a week, maybe more, they got 18 healthy players. So their lineup is their healthy.
There's no flexibility.
Yeah, who they're dressing is who they have. So I wonder if because of those the timeline of those guys being out. I wonder if they bring somebody up either on defense or in the forwards group, or maybe both. I don't know, just to have a little extra padding. Because got some road games coming up.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
I'd be super surprised if they don't call up anybody for that 3-game trip to New York and New Jersey. I mean, yeah, it's easy if you need to get a guy on a flight from Rockford to New York, you can make that happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if they call up a defenseman and a forward for that 3-game trip. It's a lot easier to have that guy on the trip with you, because if somebody gets hurt in that Saturday game, and then you got a guy there for Sunday, maybe you recall Regula or Mitchell for the trip, and then Josiah Slavin maybe, or you reward a guy like Brent Seney, who's been very good, or Cole Gutman, who looked impressive in training camp, who's returned from injury and has been over a point per game since coming back. Maybe you reward one of those guys with a road trip for the with the NA. There's worse things you could do than take a free trip first class to New York City and eat,
and hang around with the NHL guys,
and watch a game from a press box while getting the team meals and staying in the hotels. It's a little bit better than Beefaroo and Rockford.
Hey, it's real tough to cancel those Olive Garden reservations. I'll tell you what. But look, I mean, I know. The obvious is like, oh, bring up Reichel. Well, no, because the plan is when he comes up, he's going to stay up.
Yeah.
So for padding because of injuries, I think a guy like Brett Seney would be a great call up. Throw him, a few opportunities to be around the NHL guys. A few NHL game checks don't hurt either, because he's been tremendous in Rockford. He's I believe, as last I saw, still leading the team in points. He's up in the top 5, top 3 in the AHL in scoring. Like, give that guy an opportunity to practice and maybe find his way in the lineup. Who knows? And go from there. And then
if you can get a guy that can maybe actually score a goal on the bottom 6, what the hell?
Yeah, it can't hurt at this point.
If not, he's another guy in the bottom 6 that can't score a goal.
You don't lose anything with it. So
right, and plus I just checked. I think those guys are going to be chomping at the bit to get that call up for the free trip to New York, because Rockford's in Iowa all weekend. Who the hell wants to be in Iowa in December? Send me to Madison Square Garden press box. Don't do me no favors.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah. The leading scorers for Rockford. This is via Hockey DB. I'm pretty sure this is updated. Brett Seney with 23 points in 17 games. David Gus, 22 in 17 games. Lucas Reichel, 19 points in 17 games. Those guys over a point per game. The other one over a point per game is Luke Phillip with 18 points in 17 games. So they're filling up the net in Rockford.
Rockford Ice Hogs, #1 scoring offense in the entire AHL right now.
Woo!
Over 4 goals a game. They lead the AHL in goals per game.
That has not been the case in recent years.
Ever. Arvid Soderblom, when he gets returned, is going to be like, what is going on? Like, what is going on here?
He's going to have an offense in front of him.
He's like, holy cow, I could give up 3 goals and still win a game. This is insane.
Yeah.
That's nice. For years, it's been what Rockford goalie is going to stand on his head, make 48 saves, and they're going to win 2-1.
Right.
Now they're getting in shootouts, and now they don't have the goaltending, so they're losing 7-6 or 5-4. Mm-hmm. But when they get Soderblom back,
Soderblom,
whatever,
Soderblom.
When they get Arvid back,
Prince Arvid.
They're going to be able to make a run.
Foster's bringing that video for us.
We got it.
No, I know, but why was he shooting his feet?
Because he's part of Team Show Feet.
He's the show feeder.
Just checking.
No, he was aside from that.
Let's start the rumor.
We'll let that be the reality. That's fine.
He's definitely Team
We'll
Show
see if he's
Feet.
listening.
Chris
we'll see if he's
Foster's
listening.
huge into feet.
I saw Voster's in the press box the other day, and I looked at him. I go, "I'm so glad November's almost over." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I just pointed at his face. And he goes, Scott Darling likes it. I'm like, okay, well.
There's your first clue.
Yeah.
Well.
Facial hair guru, Scott Darling. That guy, by the way, Scott Darling's beard makes him look like a fat guy.
Yeah.
It gives him like fat guy face, but then you see his body and he's real skinny.
He's got big round cheeks.
He's got chipmunk cheeks.
Yeah.
And then he's got a giant like Viking beard growing
big old
off
red
of it.
beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, quick shout out. Team USA advances out of the group stage in the World Cup. Woo!
Way to go, footballers.
For all of you once every 4 year soccer fans.
That's me.
Yeah, I thought Kobe Jones was really great. Alexei Lawless
holding down
the fort. And
I really love that Landon Donovan play. That was
Tim
awesome.
Goalie.
Howard.
Tim Howard really held it down.
He's a Forest Park native, Park Forest.
Is he?
One of the
south
two.
Side of Chicago. He was a south suburbs guy, I believe. Tim Howard, right?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Yes.
To the Googles.
To the internet.
That is true, and Vossers is a feet guy.
And that is,
These are the things we have learned.
Team show feet.
I love the soccer updates from Jay Zawaski in 2007.
Yeah, no, I know. I just, at the last World Cup, like a lot of people, I'm like, that was cool. I should adopt a Premier League team, and I did, and I adopted Liverpool. And then for a while I was into it. And I'm like,
must be nice to adopt Liverpool, which was
actually when I adopted Liverpool, they were not this was the pre-Jurgen Klopp. So they had been kind of a
Jurgen Klopp is
towards the top and always sort of falling short. They became what they are now during my tenure as a supporter.
What they were a year and 2 years ago. They're now back to being average.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Right, but I will say that the glory happened after I jumped on. So
yeah, no, I was wrong. Tim Howard's from New Jersey. There was a Premier League goalie for a while that was from
Brad Guzan.
Someone
that him?
Yeah.
Who was from like the
I believe Brad Guzan
like from like Bridgeview or Bridgeport, one of those south suburbs.
I'm sure Alex from our CHGO Fire show would know.
Yeah, where's our fire podcast when we need that?
Yeah, really. Oh, they're over there. They're just hanging out, waiting to be asked a soccer question. No, for me, it was like, okay, it's cool, and I watch from a distance. It's just really hard for me to get up that early.
Yeah, I got in. I still somewhat follow Premier League. I'm a Spurs guy. I adopted them as my team. I mean, as a lifelong Cub fan, I was like, you know what? Let's find another team that's going to get my hopes up and just kick me in the balls every year.
Why? I never knew this. This is
that, and I have a good friend who lives.
Good because we are no longer friends. So
that's fine.
There you go.
Interesting.
I don't hang out with guys who listen to Train anyway, so we're cool.
I
prefer my friends that have good taste in
music. A number of years ago, I adopted Manchester United because I liked Wayne Rooney. And I don't. Lawrence, what does that mean about me? I don't know.
I don't know.
Manchester United, they're like the Yankees,
too, right?
Hey, blame my dad. All right.
Brad Guzan, Evergreen Park.
Okay.
I knew it was one of those green forest park thingies.
Evergreen Park.
Yes, Brad Guzan.
Nice.
All right. This is
see,
the
Mario,
most soccer we've ever talked about.
You're of the age, though, where, like, no Chicago teams were ever good when you were growing up. So it makes a lot of sense for you to adopt another. I see a lot of my older cousins' kids, so like high school into college, they were all like just jump from team to team. They were fans of athletes, not so much fans of teams.
I think that now with the younger generation now, that is very much the case. Where it's like someone will be like, I like the Warriors because I like Steph Curry, like stuff like that.
Well, because when we were growing up, you only saw Chicago teams.
Right.
The only time you saw other teams was when they were playing Chicago team. There wasn't internet packages where you could literally watch every single team. Yeah. You saw the Cubs and Sox and whoever they played, or the Bears, whoever they played.
Also, free agency wasn't as prevalent, and so guys played
for 10, 12 years. You identified with them,
Well, look, at least to my credit, I was born in Wisconsin, but I grew up in a household that cheered for the Bears, and my dad was a huge Cowboys fan when he was a kid. So, growing up in the '90s, being a Cowboys fan was a good thing at that time.
Yeah, it's the last time it was a good time to be a Cowboys.
Fortunately, I wasn't old enough to remember and enjoy their last Super Bowls, but for the Chicago side of things. I do remember watching and cheering for the final two of the repeat three-peat for the Bulls with Michael Jordan.
Okay. Glad you barely remember those because that was my junior and senior year of high school.
Look, and hey, we can keep going down the rabbit hole of making you guys feel old.
You don't have to go that far down. You don't have to go that far down.
Speaking of that, yesterday. This is not hockey related. We'll get back to the old hockey. I promise.
It's an off day. There's not much going on.
I was watching. I'm trying again to watch The Sopranos, and I was on season 3. And Paulie from the Rocky movies, was in it. I think his name is Burt
Young.
Burt Young is in
him.
it. Okay, Burt Young is currently 80 years old. Whew. So I looked up how old was Burt Young when Rocky came out.
Rocky.
36.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
He looked like a 55-year-old man.
He was the Arn Anderson of 36-year-old.
Yes. And the other one that blows my mind, and if you know this, don't answer it. I'll quiz Lawrence. Tommy Boy. Bo Derek and Tommy Boy, right? Married Brian Dennehy and then was, spoiler alert, actually married to Rob Lowe. How old...
Man.
In your mind's eye, how old was Bo? Like, just give me like a roughly. How old was Bo Derek and Tommy Boy? Just top of your head, like, judging from your memory of what she looked like, what would you age her at in that movie?
43.
She was 39.
Damn.
Oh.
Yeah.
39 years old.
She looked like she could have been in her 50s.
Yes.
It's also like, I bet you if I watched it now, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's good stuff right there. But
I mean, all you gotta do
when you're 19 watching that movie, 39-year-olds look like 30s.
I don't know.
I mean, just think of Seinfeld. Like, all the actors in Seinfeld were like very
30s.
young, and
Yeah.
they
They're
seemed
supposed to
like
be,
they
like,
were like
early
45,
30s, yeah.
but they like looked very old.
Do you guys follow the Wilford Brimley line on Twitter?
That is.
Yes.
Do you know who hit the Wilford Brimley line today?
Oh, today? No.
Sports related. So we're getting back into the sports world. Shaquille O'Neal hit the Wilford Brimley line today. So Shaquille O'Neal is the exact age Wilford Brimley was when Cocoon hit theaters,
That's amazing.
And
which was only 53.
was he 53?
53.
I thought it was that he was 49. Or was that when the movie was when it was filming? Because I thought the story was that he was 49 when he got the role, and the role he plays is a guy who is a retiree and then wants to live forever, whatever the rest of the movie is. I don't really know it that much because I'm too young. But
Okay, he was 50 years old, 9 months and 6 days.
Yeah, that's
when
there
that
it is.
movie was
Okay,
filmed.
yeah.
So 50 years, 9. That's the Wilford Brimley line. And he when you watch that movie, you're like, you think he's like a 75-year-old
yeah.
man, and
Diabetes is a hell of a disease.
diabetes.
Diabetes.
I have a Wilford Brimley diabetes T-shirt.
nice. You should bring it in one
Nice.
day.
I can joke about that because I have it. I'm allowed to have it.
I don't know why.
We all remember diabetes.
Yeah. All right, we should probably get back to hockey.
Sure.
If we want to. I
Yeah,
suppose.
thanks for sticking around for that. But I mean, seriously, it's a 7-game losing streak. Give us a break for crying out.
Yeah, we need a break,
We
too.
can go off the rails once in a while.
We're kind of getting tired of talking about losing just as much as you guys are tired of listening to us talk
We
about
don't get
losing.
the ad reads that tell us to go off the rails anymore, so we
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
do it
Yeah.
in our content.
Thank
He'll
you
be
for
back.
Actually, I've looked at the live. We've gained 3 live viewers since starting
See?
off.
Should we
so-
talk more movie star age guessing games?
Oof, I don't know. I think we're losing Region Rev. I think she's bailing on us. She'll be back. She's our favorite.
Sorry, Rev.
She's here all the time. By the way, if you are still here, smash that like button on the YouTube page. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe.
Don't miss tomorrow's
well.
episode where we talk about our favorite Vincent Van Gogh paintings.
Ah, man. Tomorrow's episode, late night after dark,
Beautiful.
Hawks home game.
Yeah.
8:30 puck drop against the Oilers. I asked Jake McCabe, how do you stop Connor McDavid today? And he just laughed.
He's like, yeah, don't.
He's like, yeah, sure. You just kind of stay in your gaps.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Sopranos, you hire a hitman.
Yeah,
Have the
exactly.
Utah Jazz send him a pizza.
Yeah, I put that video is in the Blackhawks beat piece today if you want to check it out. Unlocked at allchgo.com, so everybody can check that out. But just kind of wanted to pick the brains of some of the veterans on the team of how's it feeling in there? Like, what's the attitude? And talked to Jack Johnson and talked to Jake McCabe. And both of them just said, Johnson was a little more, I hate to use the word defiant, but he said, fine, good.
Yeah.
Today was good. Like, he was kind
Not
of
defiant, but like, I'm not going to
Stern?
not going to show you my hand.
yeah, kind of.
Like, oh, yeah, everything's great. Why wouldn't it be great?
Yeah, yeah. Whereas
Sure.
McCabe was more like, look, no one's happy. No one's happy that we've lost 7 in a row. But in general, it's not a broken locker room.
Sure.
I think all of us have seen recently what a broken locker room can look like. And this is not it. And if you just watch them practice, today they practiced their ass off. They did this drill where they went from blue line to goal line with the goalies and then had all the players line up to like cut off only a third side of the right wing boards. And then they had 3-on-3 drills in that limited space. Super intense. Bodies were flying. Pucks were flying. But guys were laughing. Guys were having a good time. They were, busting each other's chops when things didn't go well. And it got a little competitive. Like there was a a moment with Toews and
Shocking.
I think it was Reese Johnson maybe kind of bumped after a play and, a little bit of attitude there. And there's nothing wrong with that, and the fact that they're still competing and still playing hard and practicing hard, that's a good sign. We're going to play you Luke Richardson's press conference from today in its entirety. And he sort of talks about what you can look for in a team when a team is quit. It's very interesting. We'll get to it here in a little bit, but
yeah, no, this isn't a lost locker room. This isn't a team that's given up. This is a team that's frustrated. They're not having a ton of fun because losing is not fun, and winning is. And so, but I think for the veteran guys, they know what this is. They know what they got themselves into. So they're not like, it's not like this team came in with Stanley Cup aspirations. They're not the Colorado Avalanche going through this kind of struggle where they can be like, hey, this is not what these guys are like, yeah, this sucks, but kind of expected this. They're not going to say that.
Yeah.
But they have guys like Jake McCabe, guys like Jack Johnson can't be like too down on these guys because it is what it is. And they've been around this game long enough where they should know that. So the veteran guys are definitely doing their part. They're working hard every day because the second Jake McCabe takes a game off, that's going to have a trickle-down effect. That man will never take a day off. That guy is maybe the most professional hockey player I've ever been around. Dude is just like, even in the locker room afterwards, he's still got that intensity about him.
He does have an intensity.
He like when Derek King was here and talked about, having that presence when you walk in a room. Jake McCabe commands your attention the second he walks in the room or steps on the ice. He just has that tough guy, machismo aura around him. But
it's not fake.
No, he doesn't even have to do it. He doesn't do anything. He just looks at you and you're like, yes, sir, what can I go get you?
We talked about this before, Greg. If we were to list the Blackhawks we'd like to fight, I think Jake McKay would be on the bottom of that list.
He'd be the last guy I'd want to fight on that team.
And look at him today. When we were talking to him, he was getting he was like halfway through getting dressed, so his shirt was off, and his right shoulder, like the bone is like jutting just from an old injury. You could tell he is just a battered. I love Jake McCabe. I was thinking too, like maybe a topic for later in the year on an off day is who's your favorite Hawk on this roster aside from Kane and Toews, right? Yeah. And I think he would be mine. I love the way he plays. I love his attitude. I love his demeanor. I just really like. I like watching that dude play.
And thinking about this, on this current roster, he's the guy I would least want to fight. I can't think of a guy.
Tenorti maybe. He's got the reach.
Tenorti's because he's just a big dude.
He's got
Tenorti, McCabe, probably Kara. Those are guys I would not want to have to fight.
The question is, does Max Domi have Ty's skull?
I wouldn't want to fight Max Domi.
Max Domi, he's got he's not big. It doesn't seem like he's got his dad's same style and endurance in fights, but he'll go after you.
Max Domi seems like the guy that would definitely fight dirty. Bite you or whack you in the nuts or something like that.
Throw a couple low blows.
He would definitely take a shortcut to get an advantage in a one-on-one fight.
See, maybe this could be at the Hawks win a couple in a row. Go around the locker room and be like, "Who's the last guy in this room you want to fight?" And just have dudes say, "Oh, have
to think about it."
We're gonna get the surprising answer like, "I wouldn't fight Philip Ruse."
Sauter Bloom.
I would
say my name right.
Watch Mackenzie Entwistle win that poll. Like that dude's got no family. He's got nothing to lose.
He grew up in the streets.
He's been fighting in the streets,
fighting through the orphanage all those years,
fighting in the school of hard knocks since he was a child.
Yeah. No, that's fun. Yeah, if Max has the Ty Domi skull. Like if he got that from his dad and not his mother, that moves him up the rank because you just could not hurt Ty Domi.
Right.
You could just Probert would just for minutes on end just wail on his skull and Ty would come out laughing.
It's a different breed of
that
person.
Dude just has a rock with eyes on top of his neck.
McCabe, when he came here last year, I was very excited about it because he's a guy that I thought just played well in his career leading up to coming to Chicago, but just on terrible teams. He was part of the leadership group in Buffalo. Like it was like a very unsung veteran signing. And yeah, he was coming off the knee injury, which obviously in hindsight
hampered him last year.
Hampered him, yeah, definitely. But having him come in and have ties to Chicago, like it wasn't just just a random signing. Like he has ties to Chicago. He basically lives in Chicago and lived in Chicago in the summers, even though he was playing in Buffalo. He's from Wisconsin, so not too far away, and was excited to come to Chicago and be part of the Blackhawks. And I think that's why, for me, aside from being a Badger, I was excited for him to be here just in the city because he had that like passion. I remember in an interview before last season, he said like watching the Cubs win the World Series and not being there for it, but being around the city that year, that summer, was so inspiring. And he said, like, I want to come to Chicago and I want to be part of a championship team in Chicago. Now, that being said, that's going to be far away, and I don't know if McCabe is going to be part of this team when the Blackhawks are back to that standard.
Maybe he'll be an assistant coach.
Maybe he could be. But yeah, I'm happy that he's here. I still think he's, I think he's one of the more hardworking players, one of the more consistent players, even if it's not flashy. Like he's one of the guys that you can kind of rely on night in and night out, that the effort's always going to be there, and the role he plays, the way he plays, he's a guy that's going to be able to do it.
I know he was signed by the prior GM.
Yeah.
The he who shall not be named. But when you look at we've talked a lot about the kind of guys that Kyle Davidson has brought into this team, starting with Sam Lafferty in every transaction since. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if part of that is knowing that he needed high character, high compete guys to get through a season like this, where it's going to be 5 in a row, 7 in a row, maybe 10 in a row at some point. You know what I mean? And there's going to be those big streaks where he knows he's got guys that, regardless of outcome, regardless of situation, you're going to get close to 100% from them all the time.
Yeah.
And I think looking back on it now, and maybe if we can get some time with Kyle, we could ask him, like, hey, did you kind of build this roster to be able to withstand emotionally losing streaks? Because if this is a team with Alex Nylander and guys who you have to kind of like shoot with adrenaline before even a playoff game would begin, how are those guys going to be during a really tough span? So you've got Lafferty and Dickinson and McCabe and guys like that.
Jack Johnson, too.
And Jack Johnson.
Yeah. Always smiling.
Character
always
dudes.
smiling.
And character matters, especially when things get tough. And then when things get good, it's great to have, right? And that's another part of the element that the Blackhawks had during the dynasty, was those guys were just going to try harder than everybody.
Yeah.
Not only are they more skilled, they're going to work harder too.
Yeah. The character, if it's there when things are tough, when things get better, it just picks everything up, and that's when you see teams that have that, and they go through a tough stretch, and they pick it back up, they turn it around, they can go on a stretch the opposite direction, lose 5-6 in a row, they go back, they win 6-7 in a row. When things really get snowball in the right direction, when you have those kinds of players, like it just makes everything better. The locker room atmosphere is better. The food is better. It all just works better when things are going well for those kinds of guys.
We've got a chat from Jay Serio, who says, I know you guys like to keep Reichel and Rockford. I think that's hurting his development, and feel that bringing him up to the first line with Toews and Kane would help his progress. It looks like he's getting discouraged in Rockford, and I feel that the Hawks will eventually trade him because they didn't draft him.
No,
I don't think that's true. Look, I think that they're counting on him as a piece of the future. There is no reason for him to be up here now, aside from appeasing the fans, right?
Yeah.
And maybe appeasing him a little bit. But he talked about it, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he had a terrible game. And all the Hawks scouts were there, and everybody saw it, and he said, there's so much stuff I have to get better at still. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can score, and he can skate, and he can do all those things, yeah. But you want him to be a complete player, and we've seen what can happen when prospects are rushed. And if he over-marinades a little bit, I'd rather that than rush him up here, have him fail, have him lose his confidence, and then be part of a team that's getting clobbered every night. That is not good for development.
Yeah.
And
it's just not.
He played his worst game of the season, that day game, when Kyle Davidson and company were there.
Yeah.
So, he I don't think he's lived up to his own standards, let alone the team standards for the duration of this season so far. He's been inconsistent. He's still averaging over a point per game, but it's like he'll go 2 games without a point and then have a 3-point game. Mm-hmm. He's been inconsistent down there. So, and some of that could be that he's discouraged that he's not up here, but it's okay the way they're handling. As you said, Jay, maybe overdevelopment is better than not developed enough.
2 years of AHL hockey as a teenager is not going to be bad for you.
Right.
Like that will definitely...
A 19 and 20-year-old coming over from Europe.
Yes, exactly. That will definitely prepare you for the NHL. There's a lot of times people say the AHL is harder to play in than the NHL just because of the way the game is played. It's more sometimes more physical.
It is
because you're playing in a league that's full of guys that are those tweeners that are like, at the NHL level maybe they're just a 4th line bruiser, but in the AHL like they get more minutes, so they get more opportunity to bruise you up in a game, and they're going to take that opportunity because that's their path to the NHL.
In the AHL.
Exactly, and you got guys fighting for their NHL dreams. Either it's their last opportunity or they're guys like Reichel where it's like they're trying to push and break through and get up to the roster. So having him there, having him be part of a Rockford team, a Rockford offense, like we mentioned earlier, that is the best in the league right now, having a Rockford team that's winning games, that is, the opportunity to win and be in that kind of culture, be in potentially down the road a playoff push, like that's all very valuable. And I would much rather him feel like I would much rather him seem like he's spending too much time in the AHL, but be over a point per game player, be close to leading the team in points, have the team in a playoff position. I'd much rather him play that role than, he's going to be on the 2nd or 3rd line for this Blackhawks team and endure losing 13 of 15 games, endure a locker room that is, maybe not in the best of spirits. I would much rather him experience good things in Rockford than rough times in Chicago this season.
Being a point per game guy in Rockford for 3 months is better than coming up to the NHL and not getting a point for 9 games.
Right.
He's learning to play at the NHL, but
playing 12, 13, 14 minutes is not as in the NHL is not as good as
until you
top
start,
line in the AHL.
Keep him down there until there is a permanent spot in the top 6 open, and then you put him in the top 6 and you leave him there.
Sure.
Lucas Reichel playing 3rd or 4th line in the NHL is not that. It's not great for him right now. So wait till March if you have to, or wait till there's an injury on the top 6. God forbid, you start trading away these top 6 guys. Then you bring him up and you put him up there. Granted, he's not going to be playing with a lot of other top 6 guys, but playing top 6 roles and minutes in the NHL is what he should be doing.
Well, Chris is with us every show, and it says, I don't think there's anything wrong with Reichel getting another quick stint like last year in the NHL, especially if there are more injuries. Then get Reichel back on the AHL roster for the playoffs. It doesn't have to be binary NHL or NHL all season. I kind of agree with that, but I will say they very specifically said when Reichel's up, he is staying up. Mm-hmm. There will be no more yo-yo up and down with Lucas Reichel. That's from Kyle Davidson. So the plan is for it to be Rockford until it's not. And look, maybe that's January 1st. Maybe it's the trade deadline. Maybe it's just the beginning of next year. Whenever it is, they don't want him to be doing the Rockford-Chicago shuffle. They want him here forever. I'm with you, Chris. I think maybe now wouldn't be a horrible time to give, if they're willing to give Reichel just a handful of games while people get healthy. Okay, I don't have a huge issue with that. But they've said once he's here to stay. So that's kind of what I'm basing my opinions off.
Right, and basically Davidson in his track record right now is when he says he's going to do something or not do something, he sticks to that. So I don't think that they're going to waver.
And while we're talking about our buddy Chris Duby, I want to give him a shout out for killing it, filling in for Gene Honda.
Yeah.
At the PA for the Hawks games. Great job, Chris. Been awesome seeing you there. seems that he always gets the cool substitute duty. Last year he got to do the PA for the Toews 1000th game, and he got to do PA duties for the host of retirement ceremony.
Nice.
So good work if you can get it. But awesome job, Chris, filling in for the legendary Gene Honda, who's had the tough assignment of having to do the PA announcing for the Maui Classic over there.
Oh, man.
The Maui
rough.
Invitational.
I
That's
love
rough.
it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
He gets some
rough.
good gigs.
So-
Hey, should we get paid? Do some
I
some
think
ad
we should.
reads?
I mean, if sure.
All right. Should I start?
Go
Since
for
I
it.
since
You
I
brought it-
since
since
I
you
brought it up.
All right.
The floor is yours,
I don't know if we
Mario.
want to go in the order or not, but all
Yeah,
right.
what
Hey,
order?
Cornhole.
cornholers out there, if you love to play cornhole or bags or whatever you call it, where you're from, you're going to be setting yourself up nicely with a pair of cornhole boards from our friends at Chi-Town Cornhole. Chi-Town Custom Cornhole, the #1 cornhole provider for Chicagoland and Illinois since 2007. I'm going to try and see how many times I say cornhole in this read. Their signature box-style design can be digitally printed, covered in vinyl, and painted to whatever design you want. They come with built-in drink holders, which is great. Those right there in the back of the boards. They have the LED lights around the hole so you can see it at night for all these nighttime cornholers. And the exterior handles on the outside of the boards, because they are not made with cheap materials. They are nice, sturdy, handcrafted, wooden, heavy, good things with the cornhole boards. And they have the scorekeepers on the back too, kind of abacus style. So if you're getting good use out of the drink holders, you can keep score with those and be able to keep it nice and keep the mental math out of things. They are veteran owned and operated, which is great. They can ship anywhere and offer local pickups, and they specialize in corporate designs for your company's next marketing or social event. They make great wedding gifts for all occasions, and especially for tailgaters and backyard barbecues. Or if you're going to a CHGO tailgate, you'll see the Chi-Town custom cornhole boards out there with our CHGO monikers on them. And as I mentioned, the tailgate, you see Chicago versus Green Bay, December 4th. On Sunday, it's going to start at 8:30. Be there. Food and drinks included in your ticket. It's going to be a great time. For those cornhole boards from Chi-Town Custom Cornhole, check out their website. It is chitowncornhole.com. And be sure to follow them on Instagram at Chi-Town Custom Cornhole Boards.
And if the sun's getting in your eyes while cornholing, you should check out our friends Shady Rays, who sent us some awesome examples of their products here in the office. Everybody's rocking their Shady Rays. I left mine over at the table, sorry. But Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it, and God bless it, that's exactly what they did. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall, because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity. Oh, thank you, sir.
They are.
And they have, besides having substantial durability, they have styles for everyone and every lifestyle, including these awesome breast cancer awareness pink Shady Rays that
Nice.
I picked up.
Not just for October.
Not just for October. They are all year round. There we go. We'll throw these on. See if I can still read. Hey,
Nice.
Yeah, look at that.
There you go.
Good.
Styling.
Best part about Shady Rays, they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Did you drop them in a lake like Mario has done? Did you lose them off one of the many cliffs found in the Chicagoland area? Anything, they will replace them. Even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I could tell you from wearing on my head right now. They are just as good, if not better, than any of the expensive brands on the market. And Shady Rays customers agree with that. They have given them over 200,000 5-star reviews. That's lots of stars. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 20 million meals to date. That's freaking awesome. They stand behind their product, and they told our team that if anyone has a problem with their product, they will throw profit right out the window, their giant window at the Shady Rays factory. They will do whatever it takes to get it right. Well, they gotta have a big window to test their sunglasses in.
True.
Free returns and exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will ship them back will pay you to ship them back. That's it, and exclusively for our listeners, that's you. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use the promo code CHGO at checkout for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. I'm no math wizard, but that's buy one, get one free in my world. You can get 2 pairs of these awesome Shady Rays for as low as $54 over at shadyrays.com.
All right, and before we wrap up, I want to remind everybody that if you followed my DraftKings Sportsbook bet last night and got Tage Thompson and Brandon Hagel as anytime goal scorers, you would have won.
Heyo.
Like I did on that same game parlay. It's time to light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. If that wasn't enough excitement, turn those small bets into bigger payouts with those same game parlays. That's what I'm talking about. Thompson, Hagel, that's a parlay. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 back in free bets if they do, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. I know I said we're going to play Luke Richardson in his entirety, but we're not because we're out of time. So I may post that on
soccer rant.
Sorry. It was good stuff. I'm going to throw it up if they'll let me on the CHGO_Blackhawks Twitter account. If you want to watch that, it might be too long, but we'll figure things out.
I think we have the ability to put a longer video on there.
So look for that on the CHGO_Blackhawks Twitter. Reminder, my Blackhawks beat piece came out today. We've got Hawks history, rebuild report, all coming up this week at allchgo.com. Great time to become a diehard to save money on the tailgate and some fun stuff coming up on the horizon you're not going to want to miss. Allchgo.com is your home for all of it. We want to thank you for listening. Remember, we're with you after tomorrow night's Hawks-Oilers game. 8:30 puck drop at the United Center.
Game is on TNT.
Yeah, game on TNT. Eddie O will be in the building. Maybe they'll acknowledge it this time. We'll see. But just if you've got tickets to the game, keep that in mind. 8:30 puck drop, Hawks Oilers at the United Center on Wednesday, and we'll be on the air as soon as the game ends on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.